Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, so finally we've made it.
Yes, finally we made it.
How?
Better late than never. And
I know, I know, I know. I
I
feel so
didn't want,
bad for all the people waiting on Facebook Live, but I don't know,
yes,
there was some problem with Connect.
yeah. But what I did was I put a small post on Facebook telling them this is technology. It has its own challenges. So I don't want them to lose this opportunity of listening to you. So I told them, please join us on Instagram. I'm sure they'll be
So,
joining us. So that's great. I mean,
it's so funny because today I've like put this whole ring light so that I shine, and look better.
Kanika, you
So,
don't need to do that. You are glowing as it is.
no, but we need some light, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but so nice to see you after so long. I hope you're well, and
I'm well. You're glowing. You're looking very good. So let me tell
thank
you
you.
that. And sorry for this. And this is technology. I do my best, and in spite of that, some glitch, something somewhere. But I guess there's
It's
a
okay.
reason for everything. For me, the fun is to have chat with people. So it doesn't really matter. And as long as our viewers get to watch it, and what we are going to do is, once we finish this, we'll put it on YouTube, and we'll
Absolutely.
so that's how it is. So
So
how
where
are
are
you?
you right now? I mean, where are you right now?
I'm at home. I'm at home.
Okay.
Okay. So I need to do a formal introduction. The reason I need to do that is when I'm putting this on YouTube, then I have to have that formal introduction.
Sure,
So
of course.
good
I mean,
evening,
people
and
have joined us already because I haven't even
yeah,
actually
that's fine. That's
announced it,
fine.
but it's a
That's
surprise,
fine.
surprise, guys.
No, but that's fine. The beauty about this live chat is it's live. There's no pretense, right? Whatever goes
No,
wrong, goes wrong, goes right, goes right.
goes
We
wrong.
are authentic. We are real. That's what makes this special.
Perfect.
So good evening and welcome to Friday's Live with me, Raj Naik. This evening I have someone, and you've already seen her now, so it doesn't really matter. But she is a woman with a golden voice, uh, singer, fashion icon, entrepreneur, and as she refers to herself, Graha Lakshmi. My guest this evening is none other than the beautiful Kanika Kapoor.
Hi, I'm so excited to have a chat with you. I have to tell you, I'm a huge fan. Since I've sort of known you, and then over the years,
It's the other
I,
way.
I
It's the other way around.
I was very fascinated by Raj cheerful because there's something very naughty about you. You always have that smirk on your face, and I don't know, you just seem to be sort of everything seems to be just all right.
Yeah, I mean it's all a state of mind, right? I mean it's what you want life to be. I mean, somebody told me once, nobody can make you unhappy unless you decide to make yourself unhappy. And
Yeah, for sure.
so that's my way of life. And there's a story behind this, how this word Rajcheerfull came. When I quit my job at Star TV, and I come from an old school. After 10 years, I was so used to my secretaries doing everything for me. So when I quit my
Hmm.
job, and almost 9 months I had to be at home, uh, and I had to communicate with people. I didn't know how to use the internet. I didn't know how to send a mail. And that's the time I told my daughter, I said, "Can you help me with opening an email account?" And she was in her eighth standard at that time, and this is 2001, I think. And she opened an email account. Those days it used to be Hotmail. So she opened an email account saying rajgrouchy@hotmail.com. She said,
Okay.
she said, that's who you are. But for the outside world, I'll give you a new name. And she wrote rajcheerfull@hotmail.com. And
That's
from
so
then
cool.
on, Raj Cheerful stayed. It moved to Gmail. And after that, by default, everything I do, I stuck to Raj Cheerful. And I think somewhere, subconsciously, you then start living up to that image.
Yeah. It goes with you for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So what have you been doing? You've been very busy, I
Oh
can
my
see.
God. Yeah. So what makes you think I've been very busy and it's not just all perception?
No, I don't think so. I mean, having said that, there's a lot of perception about you. There's a lot of different perception about you. So today I'm going to dive straight in and tell me who is the real Kanika Kapoor, because everybody has different opinion about you, different perception about you. So tell me today on this live chat, who is the real Kanika Kapoor?
She's just a simple, sweet housewife.
That's nice.
And well, it's very difficult to define myself. I mean, मैं क्या बोलूँगी कि मैं ऐसी हूँ और वैसी हूँ और I mean, there's a lot I can say about myself, but I think all I'd like to say that, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. You have to read it. You have to, you have to get to know me to really know who I am and how I am.
Yeah. The little
So,
that I know you, Kanika, as the way I would put it, in spite of your glamour, your external persona and things like that, deep within, you're a sweet soul.
no, I think most people are quite sweet, and I think all human beings are quite nice, and, they're good people. I just think that everybody is going through different things and phases in their lives and different complexes that they're dealing with. And yeah, and I think that's what sort of defines who you are in different phases of your life, how you conduct yourself, how graciously you live, actually. For me, that is everything.
So let me ask you, what are your values in life? I mean, if I had to ask you straightforward, saying, these are non-negotiable for me, what would that be?
I grew up in a, I wouldn't say small town, but yes, well, I think when I was growing up in Lucknow, I would relatively call it a small town. I'm a small town girl. I grew up in a very traditional, household with a big joint family, with great grandparents, uncles and aunts and cousins, like all of us in one house. So for me, that whole the exposure I really had growing up was that much. And I think I'm very proud of the fact that, I mean, I don't feel complex about the fact that, oh, when I was a 15-year-old, I didn't have enough exposure. I just was a very sheltered upbringing, a typical North Indian family. And it was all about singing, dancing, learning how to, do flower arrangements, and just kabhi allowed to go to a family friend's home to play with Barbies. And it was very simple. And I think the value system was very, very strong because I think my parents, my whole family, they're just very simple, straightforward, just very light-hearted, simple people, and they still live in Lucknow, and they don't want to get out of that. And it's just so beautiful, actually, when I look, when I've moved on and I look back and I think, wow, they're so lucky to be in the setting that they're in, untouched, ignorant, with a lot of things. So I think, yeah, I mean, going back to my value system, it's extremely strong, and there are lots of non-negotiables for sure as I'm growing older.
So you mentioned joint family. I mean, how many people stayed together? I mean, I always get fascinated by joint families because I've seen it, but I have not lived it. So,
well, when my dad was growing up, there used to be 62 people living in the house.
wow.
And there was this one large dining room where, I mean, not 62 people sitting, but we still had that dining room. And I have memories of that, growing up with having, dinners with my grandfather and my, great grandmother. And it was just very innocent and beautiful. And the family is still together. We have a family business. The brothers are still together. Now, obviously, they live all near each other. But we have family get-togethers every Saturday, Sunday. And life is still about just family. I mean, they're more, more than having people are not, my parents are not very, very social. It's all about my nani side, dadi side. They're both a huge family. 11 masis I have. So, so
So
I
tell
think
me, I
it's
mean, interesting you spoke about your parents and the joint family. So tell me a little more about your parents.
uh, my father, being a son of a businessman, chose to become. I wouldn't say a yogi, but I think he was a yogi. When he was 23, he left home and he went to Rishikesh, and he was assisting Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
Wow.
And he learned Ayurveda, and he learned he became a teacher of transcendental meditation. And he wanted to have that way of life, and that's what he was passionate about. And my mother came from another traditional joint family from Kanpur, and they were just, both very simple people, and they live a very chilled life. My father's a golfer. Um, at some point he had to come back and take over the family business when his father passed away. So, but he's, we've really grown up with a lot of beautiful, with satsang happening in our house, with different teachers coming from all over the world to teach meditation and yoga and all sorts of interesting things. I mean, that was my childhood, really. So my father, against all odds, was very, very passionate about me doing something of my own. Like he didn't want me to just grow up without without any passion. And so the moment he saw that I had music in me, because obviously we did lots of things, Kathak and dance and a bit of this and that, he pushed me towards, doing my music. And he used to take time out and go and sit with me at my Guruji's house while I used to learn for 2 hours, 4 to 5 times a day, no, 4 to 5 times a week. So he did a lot of mehnat, I think, with me, and yeah, it's really paid off. So that's what my parents are, just
Yeah.
very normal, simple people. So,
So
अगर मैं उनको बोलती हूँ, if I tell my mother कि oh, this one is, like troubling me and this one is like that, so she'll turn around and say to me, भगवान देखो उनके अंदर. And sometimes I just want to be like, what do you mean,
yeah.
how can I see God in everyone? Just like नहीं, सब में भगवान होता है. It's okay. They must be going through something in their life. It's okay. Forgive them.
So how many
So,
siblings are you?
well, I just have one real blood, my older brother. But honestly, I have all my cousins because we grew up together, so we're all very, very close to each other.
Okay.
So, we have a group called the Jeep Cousins. So we used to about 8 of us, used to go to school together our whole life, from nursery till 12. We all, the girls and the boys, I used to study in Loreto, they used to study in La Martiniere in Lucknow, and we used to go in that Jeep. So we were called the Jeep Cousins. So
And all kids in one jeep. So it used to drop
all
you in.
kids in one. Yeah, so that we used to be in the morning. The driver used to do the rounds because we lived in the same area, and it was just amazing. I miss that. So,
So where did your influence for singing come? Where was it inspired from? Because neither your father nor your mother had any background in singing, right?
yeah, well, my grandfather was very शौकीन, so घर में बहुत artists आते थे perform करने के लिए. But my chacha is a good singer, so he used to. My chacha means my father's younger brother. He used to learn from my guruji every Sunday, just shock, just out of you know. And I used to go and just sit there and listen to him when I was 6 years old. And then 2 years later, when I was 8 years old, I started learning from my guruji. And that's how it came. And I think I think he worked very, very hard with me. Now you don't find such gurus who, really do so much mehnat with you. Like वो तबले पे 2 घंटा रियाज कराते थे, and like he would not let things be. It was pure, sheer hard work and dedication from his side for me. So I think I was very lucky. I did my master's in music. I studied for 12 years. When I was 12, I was singing on All India Radio as a child artist, classical. Um, I was about 13, 14, my father's childhood friend, Anup Jalota ji,
Yeah,
he,
of course.
he basically came on, like my father took me to him and said, I want her to get some experience in singing and performing. So, I started performing with him at a very young age. And I performed with him many, many times. I used to do a middle set when he used to take a break. And yeah, I just, that's how I got into music. So I wanted to be a performing artist while I was growing up.
You always wanted to be a performing artist.
Actually, I'll tell you the reason where the switch happened. Obviously, when you're growing up as a child, you learn all these things. But it was when I won the inter-school competition, in Lucknow between 16 schools. It used to be called Crossroads. I won that and I felt I was this chubby girl, uh, you know, and obviously at 13 you're looking at boys and it's like this new thing, and I remember we were in St. Francis School and I won this solo performance. I won the Crossroads. And I suddenly felt like I became a star, and that's it. That's when I wanted to be a performing artist, and I wanted to do anything it takes to
You
get
never
a.
thought of participating in Miss India or something with the looks
I
that you
was
have?
no, I was chubby, so I could never be in Miss India or wear I'd never had the confidence to wear a costume. Like even now, I think I would be very shy to wear a costume and take a picture. Like that would be a huge deal.
So you left Lucknow and came to Bombay to pursue your career. What happened? How did it happen?
No, when I was um, 16, 17, I came to Anup uncle said that I should come to Bombay and that I should he would take me to a few producers and I should make an album. And I did that. My father got me to Bombay and I went to a few companies. I actually signed with a company, a 3-year contract, which eventually just didn't work out. It didn't happen. I went to a Kishore Namit Kapoor acting school. I did all of that. So I was here for almost 8 months. Nothing worked out. And then I got married
Okay.
when I was 18. So
So
then
you got married very young.
I got married very young.
So what it was in Bombay or Lucknow? It was an arranged marriage. What was it?
It was an arranged marriage and I got married and I moved to London.
Okay.
So
And
yeah.
so that's
Then
how
music was packed up.
so music was packed up, and then you became a Graha Lakshmi.
Then I became a Greh Lakshmi.
Okay. For how many years?
But
I mean,
and I think the reason I think I'm a Greh Lakshmi is because being brought up in that whole household, where I literally grew up seeing my grandmother and my mother, always is taking care of everybody and taking care of the home and I mean cooking and looking up. I'm just making sure everybody was taken care of. And when I look back, it has a huge impression on me. I love that. I find that so rare, because I just feel it was just so feminine and it was so beautiful,
yeah.
that they did that. So that's what I want to be. So in my head, that's who I am because they wanted me to be that, So yeah.
So so how do you feel when you go and sing something like Baby Doll on one side and have an image of Graha Lakshmi on the other?
It's really funny because I don't speak Punjabi. I don't know Punjabi. The
Okay.
little bit of Punjabi because I grew up in Lucknow and it doesn't really have a Punjabi influence. Um, it was in London when I moved there. I worked in Southall. It's an Indian area. I would say Punjabi area really. I used to work in a doctor's clinic as a receptionist. um, for almost 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
So
That's
it was
fascinating.
there.
I've
So
not.
it was there where a lot of these patients used to come and they used to speak in Punjabi. It was like mini India. And that's when I started listening to Punjabi a little bit and I started sort of understanding it. So, yeah, that's how I know how much Punjabi I know. So obviously learning the songs and getting into it. Obviously, I'm definitely chatpat. I love,
One can see that. You don't have to say it.
so, so I love the whole beat. I love singing what I sing. It's very commercial. It's a lot of people tell me, when are you singing the classical stuff? You should take that side out. And, why are you always singing this kind of music? But I feel like I'm so accepted with this kind of music, and it's just lightweight, fun banter, why not? But yes, now I'm getting into the whole other side, the side that what I really learned growing up. So
So when can one see something coming out in near future?
now, soon,
Soon.
very, very soon. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Some beautiful, beautiful music is coming out. I feel like I've really worked hard with my vocal ability, the whole riyaz, the whole just taking care and creating some magic, basically.
I'm
It's,
looking
I
forward
would
to
say,
it. Can't wait.
it's like I'm dedicating that to my father because I remember I came to India and I sang Baby Doll and I took it back to, I had it on my phone and when I went back to London, my mom and dad were there. And I remember driving the car and I telling my dad, "Oh, you have to hear this song that I've done." And I remember he's in the car with me and I'm driving and he said, "Ye kaisa gana hai?" So, so but a year later he was dancing on it. So,
Yeah. So I'm going to come back to that. I want to ask you about your experience as a receptionist in a doctor's clinic.
oh no.
No, because that's very interesting. I mean, who would have thought that you moved to London and instead of singing, you're working as a receptionist in a doctor's clinic? I mean, it's so what exactly was your job and what are you
I was
half doctor by now? Are you a half doctor by now?
I was married to a doctor, and in fact, I lived with 4 doctors in a family. So, yes, I mean, the conversations used to be always about medicine and, and running practices and patients and this problem and that problem. And it was quite interesting. I learned a lot. I was very quiet, I feel, but I was taking in so much. Um, and being in the clinic, it just taught me, it was quite shocking for me because I have so much respect for people who actually, I mean, doctors and nurses and people who look after people because it takes a lot because a lot of people they come with so many they're down when they're unwell, they're down, they can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're almost like a counselor. And I remember going through a lot of people when I met at such a young age and sometimes taking them into a room and just telling them to not cry and showing them the light, like counseling them. It was um,
Yeah, it's not
quite an
easy.
experience. No, it wasn't. I mean, I used to have the patients, these uncles used to come and they were really unwell and they were having problems at home with their children and they would come and just cry about that. And they would cry about being lonely and they would cry about other problems. And it was just, I feel like I grew up very quickly because it was the first time I was exposed to life beyond a
And
joint
what were you
family.
at that time? You were 19 years old or 20 years old?
18, 19,
19.
20, yeah.
Okay.
And it was a very humbling job, to be honest. I just do the paperwork and I remember in England, the clinics were becoming paperless. So my job was to really take all the patients' notes and put them on the computer
Okay.
and dealing with patients and that's it. It was a 9 to 5 job.
And uh, at that time, what crossed your mind? I mean, you wanted to be a singer. you got married, you went to London, and then there you were sitting and doing a receptionist job. Obviously, somewhere it must have played on your mind.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I just didn't know how to do my music. I used to live in Northwest London in the country. And, I could, just see people horse riding and I'm going for walks. It was a different world altogether. And there was no way I could do music. I didn't really know many people in London. And I was too young and I didn't really have that confidence to go out there and hustle and, who, what, how. So I was just busy with another joint family. I used to live with a family. So it was another whole other scene. So I basically just forgot about, I didn't forget about my music, but
yeah, you put it in the back burner. Yeah.
I had no choice, and but I remember over time, I set up a small karaoke system in my garage, which was my little den, and with a headphone, and I got that whole system from this place called Bina Musicals in Southall. And then I started buying those CDs, that very nice, good quality CDs from this US person. And I used to just sing, put the reverb on the highest, and just sing all these songs, and practice sometimes for hours. And that's the maximum I would be singing. That was my exposure to music.
So when you did this karaoke and you started singing, what were the songs you were singing? What were the songs you liked, or whom did you emulate?
I didn't have much choice. So it was all, some of my favorite songs from R.D. Burman, from, Dev Das, I remember, Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam. So all these soundtracks had all these karaokes, but they were on the original notes, which was much higher than my ability. But we used to sing.
So when did your story is so inspiring, from a small town girl to moving all the way to London at the age of 18 in a completely new environment, then being a receptionist in the medical shop, then doing your own karaoke in your garage. So when did the transition happen to Kanika Kapoor, the singer? When did that happen, and how did it happen?
So, I was only 20 when I, started having my babies, and I had 3, one after the other. So now I have 3 beautiful kids. And almost 10 years later, I requested the family that I wanted to start doing some music, but not professionally, but I just wanted to make an album. And that's how I got back into studio, which is when I found a producer in London. I think I was a little bit more older. I was more together, and and I just started going to studio once a week, to Birmingham, and started just recording anything, whatever. And I used to listen to a lot of old school Sufi music, classical, semi-classical, and I used to listen to Jugni on Coke Studio. So I went to the producer and I said, well, I really, really want to remix this. It'll sound amazing with me, I feel. And I don't know, we did that, and it was just a fluke, and it came out to be a fabulous track. So we basically had that, and a few others. And that's how I got back into studio. I didn't really think that I was coming to Bollywood, or I would have this beautiful career coming together. It just happened. So and then I would say then overall 13 years later, I separated, and after that I took out the song with just a small green screen video. It was a free download on YouTube. Literally a housewife doing a passion project, sitting at home and posting a video on YouTube. It was never released, nothing. And that just went crazy. It went viral. And
what was it called? What's it called?
It was Jugni Ji, my original Jugni track.
The first one, yeah. It was a remix, right?
It was just a remix,
Yeah.
and then 1 year later, um, I just got a random call from Ekta Kapoor's office from Balaji, saying, "Hi, are you Kanika Kapoor? Are you a singer or the model for the song?" So, so I said both, and they said, "Oh, we have a song. We don't have any budgets, but we have a song for you. We're going to try your voice. Can you come to India?" And I came to India, stayed with my friend for 4 or 5 days. I sang Baby Doll, and I went back. I really never thought that this song would come out 8 months later and would change my life. And I wasn't even here when the song came out. They again called me 10 days later and said, "Listen, the song's doing really well, and everyone's asking for the singer. So can you come back to India and we can promote the song?" And I remember it was Sunny Leone and I on the music. I sang and she was in the video, and I think it just sort of blew up in a massive way. And that's it. I've never looked back.
Touch it,
So,
touch it. And I'm sure that you got many, many more milestones and many, many more things to conquer. You mentioned two things. You mentioned about your children, one, and there's something that just caught my attention when you said, "I was not ready for the hustling," you know. So tell me, what did you mean by that? I mean,
you know, I won't say just in India, but anywhere in the world, I think it's slightly harder for a woman to do things, especially in the kind of field that I am in, in showbiz, I would say possibly in everything, especially in showbiz. So a girl who's never really had much exposure to go and really interact beyond a certain sort of set, to be thrown in the deep end and ja ji le apni zindagi simran, it was almost like that. So I think I was just in shock. I didn't have the confidence to go and perform on stage. I'd never done that. Like, it came to me in my 30s. So 30 years is a long time to sort of
sure.
address to make a way of your life. And then suddenly, to change that and go and entertain people, it's another ball game. I didn't know how to entertain people. I could sing at home with that reverb, but I couldn't, like, my first show I got was with Shah Rukh, and it was an IPL opening in April 2014, like literally a few weeks later after Baby Doll. And then there is 15,000 people in front of me, and I have to entertain them and sing live for them. That was my first concert, followed by an amazing 6-week world tour with them, with the greatest stars. So from being home and then 4 months later being on stage in front of 25,000 people, it just was
Yeah, it's
I remember
oh,
trembling on stage. Like, the last show was in O2 in London, and I could see so many people I knew, and I was trembling, because it was just unbelievable. I still get goosebumps when I talk about it.
but now
So
you're comfortable, obviously. Now.
yeah, of course.
So yeah. So tell me about your children, your 3 beautiful children.
But
What
I'm
are their
really,
names?
really,
What are their
um,
names?
my son is Yuvraj. We call him UV, and my daughters are Ayana and Samara. Sam
Wow,
Sam Glam. That's what she calls her. And
very good. Nice,
they
nice.
all live in London. We live in London, and I work here.
Okay.
And touchwood, I think I'm very, very blessed to have them so young, because we are growing up together.
So how
And
much time do you spend in Mumbai and in London?
I think
And in between
initially
your
was,
shows, and in between your shows.
yeah, to be honest, it's my biggest struggle, because to be a single mother and I mean, first couple of years, my parents were parked in London. My brother and my parents were looking after. Um, the first 2 years when I was launched, I couldn't really be in Bombay. I was in London because I just didn't know any other way. I mean, how could I leave my children and they were so young and just be in another country? I couldn't take my children to India. Wasn't allowed to. So that was very difficult. So in 2016, 17 is when I started spending a bit more time. I would say half and half. It's up and down. I remember sometimes I should just fly back to London just for a parent-teacher meeting or for a sports day, so just to make sure that I was there. And I went through a really tough time doing this because you're a part of the industry and you know what it takes,
Of course.
how much time it takes to sort of. There's a lot that goes in, and emotionally coming back home and having just dinner for one when you've been brought up with so many people around you was possibly the most difficult thing for me to go through. So,
And how old are they now? I mean, Samara and Ayana
they're
and Yui.
three teenagers.
Oh, it's not an easy time.
No. But touch wood, I think they're really cool and they're very, very good kids.
So who's with them when you're traveling?
So now they're with their father when I'm not there,
Okay.
and when I'm there, they're with me. So between them and my brother, they all live in London. So it's touch wood, thank God.
Yeah. And, at 30, your life transformed and you said it just happened.
It
So
just happened.
It just happened. So are you a person who believes in destiny?
For sure. I mean, I promise you, till the age of 30, I never really thought I would be in Bombay. I never thought I mean, as a little girl, everybody used to dream about Shah Rukh Khan, to be on stage with him, um, to be
Perform.
introduced to people by him, perform with him. I mean, it was something I never even dreamt of. Like it was, something just far. We're a mother of three little babies sitting in Northwest London.
What has stuck with me is the receptionist in the doctor's clinic. That stuck with me now.
So it was, no, I do. I went back to Southall, I think 2 years later, and oh my God, it was just insane, the kind of love and the way people sort of touch wood. I think I'm very blessed when I think about all the things that have come to me, but it's a lot of hard work
Have your
and
children? Yeah, sorry.
perseverance. Yeah, a lot of hard work and a lot just dedication. I don't think that things just happen, and if they happen, you have to sustain them. You have to work even harder.
Yeah, you have to seize the opportunity. I mean, you may get the
Yeah.
opportunity, but you have to make something out of it. You can't just
You know,
sit down and say destiny will take care.
like I started straight from the top. So that was even harder because, when you have back-to-back super
Yeah,
hits and then that's all people expect from you. So that's
yeah,
even harder, And to make sure as a singer, you have to have your mind, your body, your heart, your emotions quite aligned. You can't, I'm not a party person. I'm not, I have I would like to think I have a very disciplined life. Because that's the only way I can perform and
yeah.
handle my children growing up and be in different countries and be judged and go through that too. That's very hard for a woman, a successful woman. Oh my God.
So what are the things that you felt when you said being judged? What are some of the things that?
I don't think I'm the only one. I think everyone's judged at some level, and it's okay. Why not? But when you're younger, you take it personally. When you are a little older and you're sort of been through it, It's okay. Obviously, being a housewife and a mother of 3 children, when I was away from my kids, I was first judged, oh my God, she's dumped her children. But nobody ever understood that no mother dumps their child. Obviously not. I have a job which is in another country. I have no choice. And I was doing the best I could. And secondly, everybody is like, oh my God, she's doing so well. Who's backing her? So it's really sad that the world likes to believe that if somebody is successful, there has to be somebody behind it, somebody backing that.
Yeah.
Um, no, I think anybody who's successful and has a fan following and has people who love them, nobody can back anybody. You have to put in it is your sheer hard work, it's your dedication, it's your talent. Yes, you could be seen more, you could be doing more press and PR and whatever. You could be buying 1 million likes and views on YouTube, but you're not going to be able to, till you don't touch that person, you're not a star.
True.
It's sheer talent. So yeah, I mean, so on different levels, obviously, it used to upset me when I used to listen to these gossips about me and these columns in the likes of Mumbai Mirror, in the likes of other newspapers. I mean, I shouldn't really name things, but read gossip columns and gossip about myself. It used to upset me so much. I used to cry about it initially.
One of the advantages celebrities have today, especially people like you with a huge following, what, on Instagram you got 7+ million followers or whatever it is?
No. I have much less. Yeah.
Okay, whatever number, in millions, right? Okay. I did a study long time back, and your follower, when I say your, I don't necessarily mean you, but normally celebrities, some of the following that they have surpasses circulation of 5 newspapers put together.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you just need to put out a message and you reach more number of people faster than anybody else.
Yeah.
So I don't think that
you're absolutely right. But like I said, we're talking about the past, and we would I would be, I would feel sorry for myself. There were so many days, and I could see that everything was just amazing and how lucky I am to be where I am and the opportunity I have. And I used to see all these little negatives, I went through that phase where I used to feel, through.
I got into television and I spent
In the past, not anymore.
Yeah. Now, I just want to tell you that before I joined television, I spent a bit of a time in the print industry. I worked for newspapers. And one of the things I learned, and this was said by a very, very big industrialist who said, publicity, good or bad, is good. Because people forget the context. They will remember your name.
Yeah. It's happened to me, of course. It's happened to me in a grand way, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I mean, you're right. No publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah. And you also walked the ramp for a fashion show, right? For many fashion shows.
So that was before I got into music. When I was in London, I used to attend Milan and Paris Fashion Week, and I was friends with a lot of different design houses and designers. And so I used to just attend them. And then one time, Alberta Ferretti invited me in 2012 to walk for Demi Couture and in Milan Fashion Week. So yeah, I did that. But I just feel it's like another world altogether, and it's very, very fascinating and very exciting. And I've been very, very lucky, fortunate to have been there and experienced it.
But you didn't think of straddling 2 careers?
a lot of people also ask me, Raj, that why haven't you got into acting and why haven't you done this and why haven't you done that? I still feel that my career in music is just so new and there is so much I want to do. And I'm a firm believer that you should just focus on that one thing that you can do because don't forget I'm a mother of three children. I have that too. I have two parallel lives, and there's only that much time and I realized very quickly that's where my parents come in. They told me when all this started that, don't constantly run after being important or being more famous or do 100 things because you will burn out. And this is all an illusion. It's doesn't mean anything. Being famous means nothing, and a lot of things, spiritually. So I was very clear from the first day that I don't really, want to do 100 things. I just want to be a musician. I love my job. I'm so passionate about it. I spend days and days and hours doing this. And it's so fulfilling and and I love being a mother. So when I'm in London, I'm a full-time school mom, going for coffee mornings, in my Uggs, and I'm just, you know, a mom. And then I'm back here and I'm back into another role. It's like two different lives.
Yeah. And have your children given any indication of what they want to do in life?
My son, no, he's going to study math and economics, and my daughter wants to go to Oxford to do PPE, and my third one wants to be an artist. So I think
Oh,
she's
interesting.
she's quite an interesting girl, and let's see where she goes.
When you mean artist, she wants to get into singing, or not necessarily?
I think she's an entertainer,
Okay,
so she could, you know, I'm
she
not
could.
sure,
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know where she's going to go, but I know that
That's
she's
what she
like
wants
me.
to pursue. Yeah, she's like you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're very different, all three of them. So
No, it's excellent speaking to you. I mean, I had a good time chatting with you.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Okay, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Maybe. Can't hear you. No. So anyway, um, no one can hear us. We are both on mute for some reason. No, it's not happening. Should we come back? Okay, so people can hear me, but we can't hear you. No, can't hear you. can't hear you. Okay, yeah.
Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
yes, we can hear you now.
Wow. Okay. So that's technology. I've worked in some of the largest corporations, multinationals in the
I
country,
know, I
and
know.
we've gone to. I keep saying this. We've gone to the most exotic locations like Hamilton Island in Australia and different parts of the world for our meetings. And one thing is consistent. Every time there's a presentation, there's something that goes wrong with technology. And in
So,
the best hotels in the world, best hotels in the world.
We've spoken so much about me, but I'd really love people to hear a little bit more about you. Because, I don't think anyone knows properly what an accomplished, cool person you are. When you asked me, and obviously I get messages for interviews, but when you asked me that I want to take an interview, I just jumped. I was like, oh my God, really? So
That's
I
very
was so
sweet of you.
excited, and I was really looking forward, to this interview. And I really want everyone who's watching to know how cool you are and how, you're a very, very accomplished man. And I hope I can work with you one day.
Thank you, Kanika. That's really
You know,
sweet of you. You're being very kind.
so no, not at all. I mean it. And, and anyone who knows you knows what I'm saying.
Thank you so much. So I'm gonna end this. I'm not going to take it for too long. I want to ask you what is, and this is something that I try and do it with most of my guests. What does happiness mean to you?
What does happiness mean to me? It's a very tough question.
Or how do you define happiness? Yeah.
I think happiness is, for me, being around my family, being healthy, singing, having dal chawal, roti sabzi, and achar, and spending time with my grandmother. Happiness for me is people around me being happy, healthy, and as I get older, I'm starting to find happiness in being able to give, and that's it,
Yeah,
give more,
I keep
help
telling
more.
people, yeah, if you give, the more you make other people happy, you'll become happy. It's as simple.
It's not easy to give.
Yeah.
Most human beings we are all naturally selfish, and so the one thing that I'm learning is to try and give more and more and more, as much as I can. So,
and that's very nice. Thank you so much. It was fantastic speaking to you, and
thank you.
Thank you for your time. I loved listening to you, and there's so much I've got to know about you today
Oh God.
that I didn't know at all. And I can't let you go because everybody is watching this are going to kill me if you don't sing. If you don't sing, give us a jhalak of what is coming.
No, I can't. No, I can't say what's coming because I just had a new release today in the movie called Hello Charlie. It's an item number, and last week I had a beautiful song called Two Seater Car. It's like yet another fun song. It's a single, and my next release is in about 25 days, and followed by many more. So it's exciting, but I'll sing the song which is, my favorite song that I feel like that changed my life was Jugni, and I'd love everyone to know the meaning of Jugni. Jugni means the soul of God, and the song says that at the end of the day, you fall, you cry, it's only God that you ask for help. And it's, so surrender yourself to goodness, to being kinder, and to, being a better person, better version of yourself. And that's what the song means. I'm going to sing 2 lines of it.
Okay.
I don't know if I should stand up and sing, but
No, no, you can do you can stand up and sing, you can sing, whatever you're an entertainer, you see.
You've got me very excited. So,
No,
anyway.
I'm very excited.
So,
I want to watch you. I'm watching you live now, so I'm very excited.
जुगनी तार खाई विच थाल छड़ दुनिया दे जंजाल कुछ नहीं निभना बंदिया नाल रखी साबत सिद्ध दा अमहाल वो पीर मेरे जुगनी जी वे अल्लाह वाले आदि जुगनी जी बिना भी पीर दी जुगनी जी दम गुटकू दम गुटकू दम गुटकू दम गुटकू dum gutku, dum gutku. That's it.
Wow, wonderful.
Okay, one more.
Yes, I'm loving it.
हो तुले याद मैनू गोल्डन झुमके है मैं कन्ना विच पावा चुम चुम के मन जावे है हो मैनू shopping करा दे. Just imagine all the time. My mom is like, but you always is talking about getting this, getting that in your songs. When will that change? I said never. So yeah, here we go. I'm a little shy now.
No, continue. You have to complete this.
हो एक वेस्टा पाया वे चिट्टियां कलाइयां वे ओ बेबी मेरी चिट्टियां कलाइयां वे. I can see. No, it's not happening.
Yeah. No. Okay. Thank you so much. It was wonderful, and sorry for all this tech moving from Facebook to Instagram, but I think I enjoyed this evening, and I hope you did too.
I did too, and I will chat with you soon. Thank you so much for listening to me, to hearing me out, and giving me this opportunity. It was really wonderful, and I hope that you're well, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll connect soon. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.